and dudettes. How are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Chazzy's Movie Reviews. I haven't done one of these in a while. It's been quite a while actually. My last one was talking about Marriage Story, and I know that the movie that I'm going to talk about today isn't exactly relative anymore, but I still wanted to record this review because it was on my list of videos to record, and it was a very successful movie. I do believe it won or was at least nominated for several Academy Awards, back in 2019, and I think that it's worth having a video on my channel talking a little bit about it, alright, which is The Irishman. I guess an alternative title is I Heard You Paint Houses.
You ever show up late?
No.
Do you have any moving violations?
No.
Do you drink on the job?
No.
You ever hit anybody?
On a job?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, then. We don't have nothing to worry about.
Now, this movie is something special. It is one of the longest movies I have ever watched in my entire life, I do believe it clocks in at around 3 hours or so, kind of the same length as Titanic, and it was hard to watch because it was so long, and I'm not a very big fan of crime, mobster, movie thrillers, kind of crime, mobster thrillers, when it comes to movies, I'm not my dad loves those kinds of films, but I'm not the biggest fan, although I do really love Robert De Niro, I think he's a hell of a good actor, one of my favorites of all time, so I think that's one of the reasons that I wanted to watch it, and I wanted to see for myself what the big deal was with this movie that was being nominated for so many awards. Now, it's been a while, guys, since I've watched it, so forgive me, but I'm going to use Wikipedia a little bit just to remember a few of the major points, okay? It talks about a truck driver named Frank Sheeran, who's played by De Niro. He becomes a hitman involved with a mobster, Russell, which is played by Joe Pesci, another really good actor, and his crime family. And he's also, at one point, he works part-time for Jimmy Hoffa, who was a very powerful man back in the day, played by Al Pacino. So automatically, you guys can see that there's kind of like an ensemble cast of 3 really good actors, and it's directed by Martin Scorsese, so that's, it's one of those things that, I think really deserves your attention, Now, before I get into it, I'm gonna offer you guys a few key elements of knowledge here. The production budget for the movie was between $159 and $250 million, and it has 129 minutes of runtime, which, a little over 3 hours, I would say, and it is the most expensive and longest film of Martin Scorsese's career, okay? Now, regarding the critical acclaim, I would not have been able to memorize this to talk about here, so here we go. 92nd Academy Awards, 10 nominations for Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, and at the Golden Globe Awards, it was nominated for 5, which included Best Picture for Drama, and 10 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards, including for Best Film, so yeah. Anyway, I don't think it won the Oscar. I think what actually won was Marriage Story, the other movie that I watched and reviewed. Now, we're talking about a movie that is about 3 hours long, okay? So there's a lot to take in. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of information that the movie tries to give you so you can establish the backstory before you get into it, It starts off pretty well enough. It starts off pretty easily to understand, but it starts branching out in so many different directions that by the end of it, actually no, by the middle of it, I felt completely lost. It was really hard to get a firm grasp on this movie as it was going on. But it was pretty interesting. Like, it's not one of my favorite movies of all time, but I mean, it was okay. It was okay. I do have a bone to pick with the de-aging digital effect that they used to try to make the actors look younger. I thought that was really nightmare-fueled. That was nightmare-inducing, It was a little creepy, because you can see that it's the old actors with kind of like, I don't know, digital Botox and their hair dyed darker, It just looked weird, I think that you could have simply gotten younger actors who are similar to them in appearance to play them, That would have made things a lot better. I know Hollywood has been using this de-aging effect for a while now, but I just don't think it's going too well, in my honest opinion. But that's okay, as long as you guys make the movies the way you want. But anyway, seeing Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci together was kind of like a match made in heaven because they're very good actors in their own right, And of course, Al Pacino, the original Godfather, say hello to my little friend, very good actor as well. And I think that at one point, the Frank character was kind of like a double agent of sorts, He was kind of like on the side of both characters, you know, and eventually, spoiler alert, he actually ends up killing Jimmy Hoffa. You know, in real life, the actual Jimmy Hoffa, I think that his whereabouts are unknown. Like, he just randomly disappeared back in the day. I think in the 1960s or 70s, he just disappeared, and it was assumed that he was killed. You know, there was foul play involved, you know, and it's really cool. Like, whenever I watch a movie that's based on true facts, I like to research later and see exactly what I'm up against, you know, what's going on and where the information comes from. So I thought it was really cool to get that out of the way too. And it's very interesting to see Robert De Niro portray somebody so old. Like, he's an old guy, you know, he's in his 60s or 70s, and it's interesting to see him try to play a younger version of himself while still being old. You know, that's why I think it's better that you should have just gotten a younger actor to play him and everyone else. And as the story goes on, it shows the strain that this puts on the relationships with them and their wives and their families. You know, they have daughters, you know, and I think that there's law breaking at some point or another. You know, they start infringing the law here and there because it's a mobster movie, so you know that that's going to happen. And Frank slowly starts rising through the ranks inside the mobster family, you know, until eventually he becomes the Godfather, kind of like, so to speak. And I think that so much happens in the movie that it's really hard for you to understand it the first time you watch it. You know, I think if I watch it a second or third time, I probably, you know, would understand it better. But watching it another 2 times corresponds to 6 hours of my life, and I don't have that kind of patience. So I probably won't watch it again anytime soon. But I think that it's an okay movie. I think it's an okay flick. You know, if you're into that kind of thing, you know, you could. There's a lot of drama, a lot of. There's not too much violence, but there are a few hits, you know, being put on characters. And the way, like, at first, the Frank character is very clumsy in executing these assassins. You know, he does things in a very clumsy and disorganized way. But eventually, he gets better and better at it, and soon he's kind of like the Robert De Niro that you see on the poster. You know, he's all rugged and a veteran hitman. And towards the end, the relationships, the character dynamics are so well developed that you feel like everyone has really become family, you know? And it was definitely hard for him to kill the Jimmy Hoffa character, no doubt.
Back then, there was nobody in this country who didn't know who Jimmy Hoffa was.
You got a gun! Get the gun out of his hand!
Now, one of the reasons that this video probably won't be too long and detailed is that I don't remember too much of what happened in the movie, and I didn't really enjoy it too much, but I still wanted to record a small review and discussion to show you guys that I watched it, and it's a nice movie. You know, it received so many nominations that I figured, well, even though I didn't really exactly love it, I think it still deserved the review here on my channel, you know? If you guys want to watch it for yourself, you know, if you have Netflix or Amazon Prime or Xbox or whatever, you know, whatever it's on, you can go and watch it, but I think it's still on Netflix. And tell me later, you know, what you thought about it. But I think that the set pieces were really interesting. It takes place way back in the day. I'm actually going to look up exactly when it happened. Take a look here at the plot. Okay, so 1950s Philadelphia is when it happens, you know, when the movie starts. It's actually been told by Frank Sheeran, who's in a wheelchair, you know, in an elderly home, right? And I do believe that at some point, at the very end of the movie, somebody finds him and kills him, or he just dies of old age or something. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, the whole painting houses thing is an euphemism for, you know, killing people. Actually, no, what is it? Contract killing, which is, yeah, basically hitman and that kind of thing. So I think that the movie is really, really good. It satisfies people who are into the sort of Godfather style of movies and things that Robert De Niro has done a lot in his career. Robert De Niro is perfect for this kind of movie. He was very well cast, no doubt about it. Pretty much any role fits Robert De Niro like a glove, right? But I think that this one in particular was really, really good. It really suited him well. And I really enjoyed watching his performance, you know, like 80 to 70, probably 80% of the reason I watched this movie was because of Robert De Niro. You know, the fact that it received so many Oscar nominations didn't really faze me. I just watched it mostly because of De Niro. Marriage Story was different. I actually was curious about that, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, I really don't think there's too much I can say, guys. You know, it's a good movie, but it's not exactly one of my favorites. It doesn't really rank up there even in the top 10, maybe not even top 100. Okay, maybe that's a little harsh, but definitely not in the top 20.
I want you to meet my cousin, Russell Buffalino.
How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
It was like the army. You followed orders. You did the right thing. You got rewarded.
That's really all I can say, guys. I don't think there's too much more detail I can go into, you know? I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and what I thought, you know, and how the movie was pretty well shot. It was well made, but it was really badly edited because of, you know, that thing there, but the de-aging thing. But that's pretty much it. This is probably like the 10th video I've recorded. Okay, not the 10th, maybe the 6th or 7th that I've recorded today, so I'm getting pretty tired. So I'm losing my creativity here, but I just wanted to get this review out there for you guys to see, okay? If you happen to already have watched it, you know, leave a comment, tell me what you thought about it, and if you want to decide to watch it after seeing this video, not a good idea because you're probably gonna have a few spoilers here and there, you know, but feel free to watch it anyway. I'm gonna take a break now because I'm really tired. Way too many videos and I still have gameplays to record too, so there's that. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
You gotta sit down, everybody says so.
No, I'm not sitting down. I can't do it.
It's what it is.
What it is.
I know things they don't know I know.
It's gonna happen. Either way, he's going.